Good day, pen friends. How are we doing today? Suppose I ought to check my microphone. Need my headphones for that. How are we doing? Got good video, got good audio. Frame rate test. Excellent. Just post the Instagram notification and we can get started. Boy, Matt. Alright. Take my headphones off so I don't confuse myself listening to my own voice. That really messes with your head when you hear your own voice while you're talking. Alright. So, not terribly much on the workbench today. I've got lined up an old Schaefer's No Nonsense black, steel nib. It's a cartridge pen, so there's really not anything to do except cleaning and checking the nib. It's a medium nib, which is nice. That's going to be my interlude pen. And we have a green open nib Schaefer's tuck away, and this is a touchdown pen. It is adorable, stumpy, and it's going to need a lot of cleaning. We also have a Schaefer's Triumph Statesman. This is a vacuum filler, and it's going to be a pain because the threads have stripped off of the blind cap and are stuck in, or rather, the threads have stripped off the, I suppose I shouldn't say stripped, they've broken off of the packing unit and are stuck in the blind cap. I've already dealt with one pen like that, so I know what I'm doing there. Here we have an old Schaefer's school pen. This is, again, a cartridge pen. It's going to take some doing getting that off. It's very dirty, very grody. So that's going to be some fun disassembling that. We have a Schaefer Balance. The price code on this one is $500. It's a vacuum filler. It is the short standard girth size. And finally, we have a dirty Schaefer Dolphin 1000. It is a cartridge pen as well. Fun fact, if you ever find a Touchdown Dolphin 1000, it is a Franken pen. They never had Touchdown 1000s. And a little bit later, we can look about reassembling this Schaefer Triumph vacuum filler. I've had some trouble removing the felt O-rings from it, rather felt washers, which I've had soaking for the past 5 days in the the packing unit that I knocked out. So we'll see if we can get that out. So, let's have some fun. What are we going to get to first? I think I'd like to get the skull pen open because they're very interesting and most people don't really look at them. This clutch ring is floating free. It's going to need It's gonna need sealing in place. Now, I don't have any shellac on hand because I'm an idiot, and last time I was fixing up pens, I spilled my shellac all over myself and absolutely murdered a pair of pants. Ooh, it comes out first try. Oof, that's dirty. That's very dirty. So I'm not going to be finishing any pens today. I am going to soak this all the way through. It has a lot of dried ink inside the barrel. Whoever took the cartridge out of this did not clean up the pen. So we're going to be removing this black threaded piece that screws into the barrel. And I feel like the easiest way to do that is to clean out the section first. So what we're going to do is I'm going to borrow some water from this glass. I'm going to put the section in here, nib up, and as I fill this with water, I'm going to be injecting it directly into the feed to make sure that it's soaking into the feed and there's not an air pocket in there that's protecting any fossilized ink. So, while that sits, I'm going to put the school pen parts aside, so put that aside, put that aside. What I did to my fingers, they're all inky now. If we're continuing the vein of cartridge pens, I might as well do the no-nonsense. This isn't going to require much work. The cartridge is still there, so I'll be cleaning that out, but it is permanent jet black script. So cleaning it out, I'm confident. I don't think I'll need Rapido-Ease. Just going to do what I did before. Borrow some water. Howdy there. And I'm going to remove the cartridge, put the section in their nib up, and start at the feed. And the water immediately goes jet black because of the ink, and I set that aside to soak. So we can set our no-nonsense aside. I don't think I'll be cleaning the inside of the barrel because it is nice and clean. The cartridge did not leak. I'll be reusing that cartridge. And finally, the Dolphin. This is... it's seen better days. It's very dirty, and the cap has bad tarnish. I'm going to focus in and show you the cap. Let's see if I can show this off. I don't know how much of that is dirt. I don't know how much is tarnish. What I do know is I don't want to over polish this because it is a gold plated cap. Here is the Dolphin nib. For you Dolphin lovers out there, they call it a Dolphin because of the dorsal ridge right there. just like what a dolphin has. These pens weren't officially called dolphins, they were just Sheaffer 500, 800, and 1000. And it doesn't have a cartridge. That's alright, I've got plenty to spare. The inside of the barrel looks nice and clean. So let me grab my next sample vial here. Fill up with water again. Now this looks pretty clean. I don't think I'll be taking apart this this section. Oops. Even injecting water directly into the feed, it's quite clear. For inky water anyway. The fact that you can see the section inside there means that it's very clear. So we can set that aside now. And there's my phone. And we're back. Mom has the best timing. Okay. So I wanted to take a look at this balance because I'm lazy and I want to start with the easiest. The blind cap threads clean off and I see rust on the plunger rod. So I'm going to try this without heat first. I think I'm going to need heat to remove this section. But, nope, nope. Ooh, that's making some scary noises. This is going to need a deep cleaning. Alright, let's have a look and see if we can spot any cracks. No cracks on the section. It's the barrel that I'm worried about, though. No cracks on the barrel. So, we need to unfreeze the plunger rod, because it don't want to move either way. And the best way to do that is with soaking. I wonder if I can poke a hole in the fossilized rubber gasket there to help let water through, or air bubbles. I can wiggle this left and right so it's not stuck to the side of the barrel, but the plunger rod does not want to move. And I don't exactly want to force it. I believe soaking would be best for this thing. Wonder if I can wiggle it away from that wall. That might be where it's stuck. Yeah. It's fine. Ah, vacuum fillers. I love them. They make me think. Touchdowns? Easy. Cartridges? Easy. You just clean them. Lever fillers? It's like a touchdown without an O-ring. Vacuum fillers make you think. And I think the best way to go about this is grab a sample vial, grab my syringe, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke the needle of the syringe past the rubber gasket, if I can, and spray some water down into the barrel. There we go. I'm past it now. I'm gonna spray the water very slowly because I cannot see what I'm doing and I don't want to flood this all over my desk. Alright, that was about 2 milliliters and it's approaching the top. Now what I'm going to do is spray water into the sample vial. Call it 4 milliliters. And I'm going to let that sit for at least 10 minutes while we work on our next pen. The Statesman. This is a Triumph nib. Triumph nibs are tricky. They don't always want to come off. But the beautiful thing about working on a Sheaffer Triumph is you don't need to remove the nib. You just have to remove the section. And that feels like I'm going to need some heat. But let's find out. Of course, the thing to always remember is never force something. If it doesn't want to move, it's not going to move. 8-Ball, I pinged you 10 minutes ago. No, not 10 minutes ago, 10 minutes before I started. That's 25 minutes ago. Oh no. You arrived just in time for the heat gun. So, angling the heat gun away from anything on the table. I'm just gonna hold the pen in front of the heat gun, start rotating the pen. I like to rotate the pen so that you get an even heat all the way around. And I don't just heat the part that I want to move. I like to spread the heat out. I'm not sure if there's anything scientific about this, but I feel like if you spread the heat throughout, there's going to be less stresses there. That feels warm enough for a start. She doesn't want to move. I'm not squeezing terribly tightly with these section pliers because I don't want to crack it. I don't recommend gorilla gripping anything. You're just going to break your pens. And you'll be sad. Your pens will be sad too. They're going to see what you did. And they're going to say, oh shit, I'm next. So you can probably see some flickering on the live stream. Whenever I turn this heat gun on, one of my lamps flickers. I apologize for that. Feels nice and hot. Let's try round 2. with the rubber grippy. This generally helps me get a better bite without biting. But she still doesn't want to move. So you know that means we don't force it, we just keep warming it up. Of course, we don't want to warm it up too much. The key is getting that sweet spot, that sweet balance between too hot and not hot enough. So we don't want to melt our pens. That makes them just as sad as snapping them does. So I found a good line on a powered respirator, and shortly, God willing, I should be able to start using this scary stuff on stream, because I won't be breathing any of it in. Feels warm enough to give it another go. I thought we had it moving, but I was mistaken. And it still doesn't want to move. You know what that means. This black vacuum filler barrel has pretty decent transparency. Not the greatest I've ever seen, but considering I haven't flushed the old ink out of it yet, I would call it above average. That should be good. Let's see if we can get this moving. Burning sensation? No, you should see a doctor for that. Still doesn't want to move. Still quite warm. I don't know if I want to heat it up further. I'm not planning on melting this pen, but you never know. It might happen. I've done it once. That was when I was first starting out. I was way too eager and nowhere near enough patient. I have pens that I've been working on for weeks that I haven't finished yet. Because I do things at my own pace. If I'm working on someone else's pen, then I'll do it within a week. But with my own pens, there's no rush. I'll get them done at some point. Let me put my phone on silent. Alright, so here's what I like to do when a pen does not want to come apart. It involves water. Put it in there. It might be being held apart by old fossilized ink. So what we do is soak it for a while. Ooh, that's a very nice deep blue ink in there. We soak it for a while and see what happens. Softens up the old ink. Old ink. Let's go. Oscar, the nib on that pen you just linked me is absolutely beautiful. The one that you DM'd me. Not the lot of two. Although those two are very tempting. Oh, I see. It's eBay doing the redirect bullshit again. I approve of this purchase. It's a very nice nib. Good job. I'm proud of you. They're both great nibs. I like the hairlines on the balance more though. Okay, back to business. We can set this cap aside. We can set this cap aside. All we really have that's not soaking right now is the green open nib tuck away touchdown. Now these are very easy to restore, being that they are touchdown pens. It's basically just a lever filler without the lever and with an O-ring. So we can take my 1/4-inch flathead screwdriver, rather, sorry, 1/8-inch flathead screwdriver. Bite onto the flathead screw inside the blind cap. I don't mind nail nibs. They're great work pens. I EDC all of my Schaefers. There we go. want to lose that little guy. I see what I believe to be some rust on him. Yes, there is rust here. And the screw does not want to come out of the touchdown tube. That's alright. He doesn't have a say in the matter. Ah, there's a washer on this one. That's not something you see often. And it is completely barked. Unfortunately, the washer didn't do anything to prevent moisture from getting into the pen, but we have it apart this far. This is a very ossified sack inside this sack protector. See if we can get it out. Well, the sack's still in there. There we go. I am going to add this hard sack to my ossified sack collection. I would be a very happy man if I got my hand on a flexible Music Triumph nib. I saw one on a Carmine. I don't think it was a tuckaway. I think it was just a regular Triumph. And I'd love to get my hands on one of them. So now we have the remnants of the sack on this section nipple. I've got just the tool for that. This here is one of my favorite sack scrapers. It forms almost a U at the end with a very sharp bladed point type thing. And you can use it to get right in there and start scraping the sack away. The first part's always the toughest, but once you get your first bite, it's going to be easy. And ossified sack fragments will go everywhere. Actually, getting it started might be better with this one. Oh, much easier. That's a very clean cut right there. Sometimes soaking can soften up the rubber, but I personally prefer to get most of it off when it's hard because it will flake off in large chips. And then for the final cleanup, you can soften it up with a long soak and use a dental pick or X-Acto knife to get the remainder of the shards off of the nipple. Yeah, I've seen that one on Peyton Street pens. Ah, bless me, I'm sorry. I've seen that one on Peyton Street Pens, but it's not the style of Triumph that I like. I want something like the early Touchdown pens. Or, I'm sorry, the early Triumph pens. It has the classic style of Triumph nib. Like this right here. This is a very stubborn sack on this here pen. There we go, there's a big chunk. That one almost hit me in the eye. There we go, there's some bare celluloid. Now it's flaking off easy. Alright. I missed a few spots. I'm gonna clean those up. And then I think we can soak the soak this section here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I like it to be as perfect as I can get it, and I think that's about as perfect as I'm gonna get it without scratching the section nipple. Just a few more big chunks and it's, I'd call it 99% clean. Everything else I will remove after the soak. My fingers are getting dirty. So, here I have another sample vial. I'm gonna borrow some more water. And I'm going to throw a section in there, nib up. Pour some water into the feed. And it is pitch black. So now we've had our Triumph Vec Filler Statesman soaking for a few minutes, and what I'm going to do is work the rod a little bit, use what little suction there is to my advantage, and you can see if I zoom in, you can see why I restore every single pen that I come across. This one is leaking ink out of the rear of the seal. These are old pens with old filling systems and old seals, and there is no telling when the seal will fail. Even if it works when you get it out of the antique shop or eBay, oh no, you didn't, did you? Oh, you did. That's a Statesman. Man, I just bought a $20 Schaefer. That's, sorry, not a Statesman, that's a Valiant. I could use another Valiant, I suppose. We'll see if I can get it for the minimum. Just set up my sniper. Thank you, eBay. I'm aware it ends in 15 minutes. Oscar, why do you do this? Alright, Oscar, we'll see if I get it. Anyway, back to my tirade. When you buy a vintage pen and you don't have it restored, don't be surprised if it doesn't want to work, or if it stops working shortly after you get it. This is gonna need heat. And I always advocate trying something new, learn a new skill. Try to fix up your old pen. It's a lot of fun, I enjoy it, it's a nice hobby. But do your homework, read up on all the different procedures, all the different methods, everything you need, and don't half-ass it. Go 100% or 0%. If you don't have everything you might think that you think you would need, then get what you need, or send it to someone to have it professionally restored. If you can't get your hands on shellac, pure talcum powder, graphite powder, silicone grease, or any proper tools, I don't recommend restoring pens. Oscar, holy shit, you're sending me so many links. Let's see if this pen opens up for me. Let's add the rubber. Does she want to move? Let me get my other grippy pad. Where is it? It's over there. Oscar, please. I know I need pens to restore on stream, but I only have so much money. She does not want to move. I've actually rotated the nib slightly. I've rotated the feed. How on earth did I do that? We can remove the nib. Removing the nib is simple enough if you know where to grip it with the section pliers. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take the nib off of the feed, unless I can rotate the feed from the tail. Hey, I can. Okay, I don't need to take that apart then. Can I get the plunger through there? That'd make it a lot easier. I might be able to. Whoops. That's why you gotta be careful with vacuum fillers. Everything around you will turn blue. Let's just clean that up. Alright, Oscar, what did you send me? In all honesty, those are some great pens, but I wouldn't buy them for that price. I tried to stay under 20 for restoration projects. If I'm planning on flipping a pen especially. But I already have most of what you've linked. Oh, that one's interesting though. Oscar, how dare you link me a ballpoint? I expect better from you. Yeah, ballpoints are alright too. Alright. So, now that we've sprayed ink everywhere, I need to start thinking about how on earth I'm going to get this blind cap off. Because I'm going to have to remove the packing unit threads. And the last time I did that, I just held this to the blind cap and twisted the blind cap. I don't know if that's going to work this time around because I have a plunger rod in the way and it's very awkward. It does seem to wiggle around a little bit. As long as it isn't glued in there. I don't think I'm making progress. Little by little, I believe it's coming out. I don't know if heat would help because plastic expands as you heat it, just like air. I don't really want to expand it. This is a very interesting issue. Because it's a later blind cap, which means it's the wobbly sort. I wonder if I would be able to remove... If I'm able to remove the gasket nut, then I'll be able to pull the plunger rod out the back. And I won't have to deal with the pen barrel being on there, getting in my way. So I can use this transparency to my advantage. And hopefully get a good grip on the nut, which is hopefully not shellacked, which it feels like it is. I'm getting ink all over myself. And he puzzled till his puzzler was sore. I say, indeed. I don't think this is going to work. I don't know, I'm puzzled. I don't know how on earth I'm going to get that out of there. It'd be simple if I could get the plunger bot out. But that's not going to happen. What to do, what to do. Oh, eBay, what have you for me now? Oh, balls, I won. Oscar, why did you do this? Now I have to pay for it. I mean, that enormous jade pen. It is the biggest jade pen I've ever seen. So if you decide to resell it, you can probably make at least some of that money back. And by some, I mean all of it. Okay. I'm gonna try heating this. And we're gonna see what happens. You should try selling on FPN. I would call that sufficiently warm. Let's see. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Oh, balls. I've spilled ink on my pants. FPN has been around longer. They have a metric shitload of members, so I believe you need to participate in the community some before you can access the market, however. That is going to be a pain in the butt. It's going to be an enormous pain in the butt. This could be a friction fit packing unit. Where's my... I know I had it up here a minute ago. There it is. Hey, it's friction fit. This is gonna make it a lot easier. I've got the gasket nut off. Means I can remove the old rubber gasket and the gasket stopper. And I can pull the packing unit off. Now I don't have as much getting in my way with this blind cap. So, how am I going to take you off? That's a lot of ink on that. Nope, that's not a napkin. Where the fuck? I've lost my marbles. I'm so inky. I feel like Ralph. Is this what being Ralph is like? I'm just going to toss these in here and hopefully not forget about them. In the meanwhile, I can procrastinate by removing the packing material from this packing unit. It's a lot easier when you can see what you're doing. Wasn't it Andy that drank the ink, not Ralph? I've been thinking about getting into FPN because I miss the old style forums. There we go. There's the packing material. Most of it, anyway. So convenient when it all comes out. But some of the felt got left behind. Here we go. There's something therapeutic about cleaning out the packing unit. Maybe because you're destroying something in order to make it anew. Like the Legend of the Phoenix. That was the neckbeardiest thing I've said all day. Yeah, it's gonna take some doing. I'm going to just drop this in to soak as well. Good news is we got most of it out. Oh, Lord. Have mercy. How am I gonna get you out? I need to stop procrastinating and think about you. I'm going to be solvent welding this back onto the packing unit anyway. So perhaps I'll dig in with a picker and see if I can get it rotating. maybe I'll just scratch the shit out of it. I need to have a good long think about this. The easiest way to grab onto it would be to have a cylinder of plastic that I could slip over the plunger rod and use mech to melt to the threads. And when that sets, I could simply unscrew it, chop off the cylinder, sand it back down, and then solvent weld it onto the packing unit. Welcome back. What sort of burner barrels do I have? This one's scary looking. That's doable. I wonder. This is probably a dumb idea, but I haven't had enough dumb ideas yet. Like most of my dumb ideas, it does not appear to be working. That sounded like eBay. Well, I'm not bidding on that. It's over $100. I don't think this is going to work. Pity. I feel like it was a good idea. I may try the methyl ethyl ketone route at a later date. We'll see. Problem with that would be it stands a chance of welding the blind cap to the packing unit threads. That's fine. I hope you enjoyed that model too. How am I going to get you out? It seems without fail there's always at least one problem vacuum filler. Speaking of problem vacuum filler, I'm going to set that aside. And we are going to see if we can get this one moving. If I can get the liquid out of it. Of course, could just hit it with a hammer. Just having no effect. There we go. I suppose that's one way to unfreeze a rod. Let's wick out some of the moisture. In the meantime, I'm going to knock out the rod. That should do it. Holy shit. Mother of God. Holy fuck. Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe I'm going to be replacing this rod. Holy shit. Let's get a close-up on that. Alright, for your viewing pleasure, behold the vacuum fill rod from hell. Look at that. Look at that. I am not even going to touch that right now. I'm going to put that shit on Instagram later. That, oh my goodness. I have never seen a plunger rod even remotely close to being that bad before. That is horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. I don't like it. Not one bit. Alright, so history lesson time. Schaefer had two types of plunger rods. They had their stainless steel rods, and they had black celluloid coated rods. The stainless steel rods are preferable because of their corrosion resistance and general durability. The black celluloid coated rods were Schaefer's answer to using bad steel. A lot of their early rods rusted. They tried out these celluloid coated rods and later went to the stainless steel rods. These black celluloid coated rods, they're poor steel and they're known for rusting. You can see a few lumps in this one, which is a telltale sign of rust underneath the celluloid. That's why I use it as a knockout punch for punching bad rods out of barrels. It's useless to me. I'm never going to put this rod in a pen. I use it as a tool. This one, the rust has built up so much that it has split the celluloid. The rod is actually bent. Since I used the knockout block, there's no way that I bent it with the mallet. That is a combination of rust, buildup from old pigmented ink, and shards of black celluloid. That is horrifying. Well, boys and girls, are we having fun yet? Which one of these has parts in it? This one for sure. This one has something in it. I don't remember putting anything in this one. Well, boys and girls, I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to go wash my hands, rinse out this right here, and get some more water for flushing. So I will be right back. I'm back. I said I was going for more water, but I came back with an ultrasonic cleaner. So I'm going to put that... Where am I going to put that? This room is so cluttered. Can move these over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put whatever we currently have soaking in the ultrasonic. Now that everything's been softened up, and for your viewing pleasure, I will put the ultrasonic over here so you can watch the swirly ink. So first off, we have our dolphin. I'm going to put him in there. Next up is the school pen. And in this vial we have the open nib, which I believe is from the tuck-away. Totally not going to get these mixed up. And here we have our Sheaffer No Nonsense nib. Now I'm going to use tweezers to fish our vacuum fill. Oh, this is the packing unit. The gasket stopper and the gasket nut. And this is going to be loud when I turn the ultrasonic cleaner on. But I will plug it in. It's set for 180 seconds by default, and I'm going to turn it on. Exactly, Matt. Exactly. And you can see the water is already growing inky. I'm going to stir these with a nylon pipe brush because it's something very gentle. I don't want these touching each other. Stirring it also helps siphon some of the ink out that's been shaken loose. So you may notice as I'm moving these around, they have little clouds of ink coming out of them, especially the No Nonsense. And now, you can close the lid to make it a little bit more quiet, set it aside. And that'll go for another 100 seconds or so. And now, I've got quite the mess up here on my desk. I think it's time for me to try getting the felt washers out of this packing unit. There they are. Roll this around a bit to dry the exterior. And now, let's try this pick. This vacuum fill pen has been defeating me for the past 3 weeks because I cannot get the felt out of the packing unit. I do have spare packing units that I could use, but I would like to use the original one. And with these packing units that were friction fit, I believe when I put them back together, I will be using methyl ethyl ketone to secure them permanently in place. And every day, I scrape out a little bit more of this felt. And there's always more. I simply cannot get all of it out. I don't know if they glued this in place or what, but the felt washers just do not want to come out. And they're going to have to come out if I ever want to finish this tuck away. What's something that I can use? Let's try this scraper. Let's see if this wants to work. Doesn't really do anything. Oh, I forgot to put this nib in there. Well, you can soak. I believe I'm just going to have to keep picking away at it. Ouch. This is the part of pen restoration that you generally don't see, is the problem pens. But I like problem pens. They keep me busy. It's nice to work on a pen for an hour after work every night. It's a great way to unwind, relax. Just don't let it get to you. If it doesn't want to behave, it doesn't want to behave. You'll get it eventually. I'm very excited about this tuckaway because it is a clipless model. I'm excited to get done with it. Post it on Instagram, post it on Reddit. But you know what? I'm not in a hurry. So you just poke away at it a little bit each day. You'll make progress every day. I've already gotten a little bit of felt out today. That makes me happy. You know what I haven't tried yet though is heat. So just for giggles, I'm going to heat this up and see if the felt wants to come out any easier. So I'll hold it in place with my pliers and put the heat gun on it for a few seconds. That feels plenty warm to me. So does anyone have any sort of question or advice that they would like on vintage pen restoration? I don't really have much to talk about right now, and I know just watching me work in silence can be boring. I've actually made good progress on this packing unit tonight. I reckon about half the felt is out of it. Alright, that's enough of you for now. You go up there. What else do I have on my plate right now? I have a lot of disassembled pens. I suppose I could try removing the blind cap threads, rather the packing unit threads, from the spline cap again. But how am I going to get you out? I believe methyl ethyl ketone will be my only choice. Trying the welding using this sacrificial cracked barrel. Let me use this sacrificial barrel instead. This is the one that's in far worse condition. Yes, I believe that would work. I believe that would work. Well, now we've been live for about an hour and a half. Doing good so far. Ooh, I didn't notice that before. There is stripped plating on this blind cap. There it is. There's definitely stripped plating. This cap is not going to clean up well at all. No, I think this cap is aesthetically destroyed. Too much plating loss, too much tarnish. It is a steel cap underneath, I can tell. This will definitely be a workhorse pen. This is no collection piece. The interesting thing about polishing is, since it is friction, it's actually warming up the cap in my hands. cap is quite warm right now. That's unfortunate about the plating. I'm not in a big hurry to restore this pen anymore. Well, let me fetch some water for flushing, and let's see if we can get some of the touchdowns put together. I'll be right back. Okay, I've gotten 1 cup filled with water and an empty cup, and I'm going to be flushing using my trusty syringe. So, the first nib that I grabbed is the dolphin. And what I'm going to do is slot. It's funny because the ink syringe goes straight into the feed there, and then I can just flush clean waters right through the feed system. So once again, fill the syringe right into the feed. And that is a clean dolphin. Set him aside, grab the next one. Here we have our Tucky. Fill the syringe again. Now here I'm going to go in through the nipple. I'm going to fill the syringe one more time. And flush clean water through the feed again. Here's the school pen with a lot of dried ink around the section. Give her a good flush right into the feed hole. I'm going to soak this one in some Rapido Ease once I finish this next flush. So I'll take one of my sample vials, dump it, get some water, and spray it out, rinse it out real good, or at least good enough. And now up here I've got my Rapido Ease. Pro tip, shake well before use. I'm actually going to put this in nib down this time because that's the area I want to focus on. And I'll just pour a bit in, call it halfway. Since I don't need a super duper high concentration of Rapido Ease, I'm going to put some water in there as well, just to bring it up to the top. And we can set that aside to soak. Next up, we have our no-nonsense nib. Not quite running clear yet. Remember, this was permanent black ink. Still not running clear, so to the Rapido Ease it goes. So we'll let that soak, probably overnight. Now the last nib in the ultrasonic is this here round Triumph nib. And it's got a convenient hole for us to stick the syringe into so we can flush clear water through. And that runs clear. So that's all our nib units taken care of. Unfortunately, I do not have any shellac, as I mentioned earlier. That's right, I have a Feather Touch nib here that needs to be soaked in Rapido Ease. Don't know how I forgot this one. I'll just give it a quick rinse. The heart. And into the base. sample. And we can rinse out the sample vial. Put her in there. Get some more water in the syringe. Put some more Rapido-Ease in here. Fill the rest with water. And set her aside to soak. Now I can think about taking the O-ring out of this here touchdown pen. Probably easiest with this tool. Definitely easiest with that tool. And the rubber on the O-ring is so dry and old that it has actually cracked and split the ring. Right there. There's actually a crack in this cap that I had not noticed. That is unfortunate. Can probably weld it. And this needs to be soaked. Is this the one? Oh yeah, this is the one. Alright, now our school pen barrel is soaking in water. I'll later use Rapido-Ease on it. Now the only things left, let's see, this is just inky water. The only things left in the ultrasonic are the packing unit, plunger gasket, and plunger nut from our very scary stuck blind cap Triumph Statesman. So I'm going to fish those out with the tweezers, put them into soak in fresh water. I actually need to borrow this lamp to find them. It water is so murky. Oops, I hit the camera. Alright, those will be soaking. And while I'm at it, I might as well rinse out this here sample vial. Okay. All things considering, the skull pen cap is very, very clean on the interior. This is horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. So, I'm going to call it a night because there's nothing else that I can do for these pens that does not involve solvent welding. And I'm not willing to do that in my studio. Too many dangerous fumes. Hopefully by next Saturday I'll have shellac on hand and I'll be able to actually put sacks back inside pens again. I could finish this touchdown tuck away if I had the shellac, but they're just going to get a nice long soak in rust remover and then they'll get set aside for the immediate future. So that's where I call it a night. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I hope you get out there, do something fun, create something cool, fix something old. Peace out, friends.